welcome to SuperScreen News. I am Olamide Onwuka. The Senate has written the Chief Justice of Federation, Justice Walter Onnoghen, to express reservations about the judgment made by a federal high court stopping the National Assembly from overriding President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to veto on the Amendment Act. The Senate Minority Leader, Godswill Akpabio, during Thursday's plenary drew the attention of the Senate to the judgment said to be an abuse of the principle of separation of powers, a view which was unanimously corroborated by the House.
On the current situation of an injunction that was granted by the Federal High Court against the Senate, kind of restraining the Senate from looking further into the issue of the electoral bill just recently, something that I believe it's totally bipartisan.
The matter at stake does not require any court intervention. This is democracy at work. I don't believe with that amendment. I voted against it. I'll vote against it tomorrow. But it behoves on me to talk to my colleagues to see the way I see it. Or if you want me to abandon my position, talk to me.
The principles is very, very clear. And the opinion shared by both the leader and the minority leader, I'm sure, is the opinion of all of us. What is important is for us to sustain this democracy, build on these institutions. As I keep on repeating, we all come and leave this place. The most thing we have is our democracy and our institutions. But the separation of powers is what we have responsibility for, and that's what the judiciary.
The Senate has been advised to ignore the reasons given by President Muhammadu Buhari for not signing the Electoral Act Amendment of 2010 passed by the National Assembly. Report says, based on the advice from the Senate Legal Department, the upper chamber of the National Assembly will proceed with the process to override the President's veto on the bill, which seeks to reorder the sequence of elections. A new Section 25 in the Electoral Act states that the sequence of the elections will commence with the National Assembly, followed by the governorship and state houses of assembly, while the presidential poll will come last. President Buhari had written both chambers of the National Assembly on his decision to withhold assent to the amendment bill. In the letter dated March 8, 2018, the President had said the amendments made by the lawmakers were in conflict with the existing laws of the land. And to all the news, varied reactions have trailed President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to Benue State. A cross-section of Nigerians who spoke to SuperScreen television applauded the president for eventually visiting the embattled state.
Exactly 2 months, 12 days after the mass killings in Benue State, allegedly perpetrated by Fulani herdsmen, President Muhammadu Buhari eventually visited the states on Monday, March 12, 2018.
That is one of the carefree attitude of President Buhari. He doesn't take us serious. What is all about concern is the 2019 general election. That is the basic concern, because I believe he's going out there to do some politicking.
It doesn't really matter if the vice president has visited the place. Supposing the vice president is the president of this nation, don't you think that promptness, that activeness has been there? Don't let us count the number of days. Let us count the numbers of activities that is going to come.
And while addressing the people, he enjoined them to live peacefully with the herdsmen as the solution to incessant killing. Reacting to this development, these respondents expressed varied reactions.
He has said it as a father, but what they need to do as a country is to put palliative measures in place that is going to cushion the effect of that peace. Here, one Nigeria, and whatever the case may be, from the ancestral history, we have to trace it back. And even if they have to do anything, they have to go to the root cause of that problem.
We've known Benue State for a long time. It's a food basket of the nation, but a situation where herdsmen will take heads to the cattle to the farm and begin to eat up farm produce that the farmers have labored for a very long time. Then for them to wake up one morning and herdsmen and their cattle have destroyed their products, all the labor they've put in for a long time. I think it is very bad, so the president should do something about it.
He just want to be somehow conservative about things, just to bring about agreements. You know, can't give fire for fire. Do you understand? We know that if the Benuans, if they should reply those herdsmen, it's going to be a bloodshed. Look at what is happening in Syria, and look at just what has happened this morning in Gaza. So we should learn to live in harmony. That's my advice too.
These men are just, it's a title given to some group of people. So we are all human, and I believe both herdsmen and people have been Nigerian. So I think Mr. President is right by saying they should live in peace.
It caught many by surprise as President Buhari expressed shock over the non-presence of the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, in the state, which shows that the IG flouted the president's order to stay in Benue until the situation has been brought under control.
If he is taking the citizens serious, he cannot send the IG to a state without monitoring the situation. For him to just come out and say that he doesn't know if the IG was there or he left. So that to me is careless on the part of the president.
It shows that President Buhari is not concerned about the Nigerian citizen at all. Upon all the killings, which is more deadlier, people, Nigeria are suffering. You can see the scorching sun. So some people are dying there. And the president said he doesn't aware that the IG is there. Who's supposed to be there? It's not the IG or the president.
Mr. President should be aware that the IG is not on that location. But on the other hand, what was the problem? What was the matter with the IG? That he disobeyed president's order. So they both have the fault, but the bigger part of it is from the IG.
Interestingly, on Tuesday, March 13, 2018, the president met with the IG in a closed-door meeting, which resulted in a query given to the Inspector General of Police. As it stands, Nigerians are waiting to see the kind of disciplinary action which will be meted out to the Inspector General of Police by the president. This, they believe, will serve as deterrent to others with such insubordination acts.
And moving on, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, says President Muhammadu Buhari has directed all ministries and parastatals to appear before the National Assembly to defend their budgets. Mustafa, who disclosed this to journalists at the end of a meeting, said President Buhari had with the leaders of the National Assembly at Abuja said the president and the lawmakers update on security, economy, job creation, processes, and the National Assembly, especially with regards to the budget and the need to conclude on it. The President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, also said the meeting was about budget, security, and other national issues. Benue State has buried 26 people killed by Fulani herdsmen at the St. Bernard Primary School, Ugo-Opoga. The diseases were also killed when herdsmen attacked the Omusi Edumuga community in Opoku area of the state. The Benue State Governor, Samuel Autumn, who led members of his cabinet and other government officials to the burial, said the merciless killers must stop. The governor, who offered condolences to the bereaved families, further reiterated his call on the security agencies to arrest the leaders of the Mieti al-Kotal horror, whom he alleged were the sponsors of the killings based on the comments credited to them. Autumn said the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law recently promulgated by his administration had come to stay, adding that the state had no land for open grazing. A former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Samuel Afolayan, says the efforts of the federal and the state governments to ensure security and food sufficiency, employment, and industrialization of the economy may become fruitless if the menace of the destruction of farmlands and attack on farmers by the herdsmen is not curtailed. Afolayan said the herders struck again, attacking a special royal farm at Oboile in Ekiti State Government of Kwara State and destroyed 121 hectares of his 500 hectares farmland. He said out of his 500-hectare farm, the herders burned 67 hectares of cassava worth 57 million in custody. 2 suicide bombers have been killed in a failed attempt to infiltrate a suburb of Maiduguri, Borno State. The 2 suicide bombers, both female, were said to have hurriedly detonated the improvised explosive devices strapped on them to avoid being caught alive. This led to their death, with 9 other persons sustaining several degrees of injuries. Police spokesperson in Borno State, Joseph Kwaji, who confirmed the incident, said the bombers were intercepted by security operatives on duty, but they hurriedly detonated the IED strapped to their bodies, killing themselves and injuring 9 other persons in the process. And our River State Governor Nyesom Wike has raised alarm over plots by opposition party to set up illegal vigilante groups that will clash with the state neighborhood watch, paving way for the police to ban the security outfit in the state. Governor Wike stated this during a courtesy visit by the Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 6, Usman Abubakar, at the Government House in Port Harcourt. Details in this report.
River State Governor Nyesom Wike said there are plans by political rivals to stop the Neighborhood Watch, a security outfit in River State, by creating incidents that will incite the group. The governor stated that only a court of competent jurisdiction can stop the watch, as the group is a security organization that will support security agencies with intelligence to promote peace in the state.
It was from Lagos State. I can authoritatively say we adapted Lagos State after the Security Council met and agreed that there is a need to also replicate in order to support the security agencies.
Wike also said the government has acquired 6 gunboats from the State Police Command to effectively fight criminals on the waterways, saying any contrary action will be detrimental to the stability of the country.
This 2019 election, I've said it before, I got not to say it. Anything goes wrong, it is INEC and police. Why do I say so? It is the role of the police to protect the electorate who are voting and protect the electoral personnel. So if the police and INEC work hand in hand and to make Nigeria proud.
In his remarks, Assistant Inspector General of Police in Zone 6, Usman Abubakar, said the Zone 6 Police Command is working out ways to reduce crimes in the area.
To fashion out the way to end or reduce cultism, militancy, kidnapping, youth restiveness in the state. A lot of things, we have a lot of problems. So let us have a past information on how we can tackle this problem.
Abubakar called on various groups to come to work together for peace in the community.
The International Foundation for Electoral System, IFS, says it will give every necessary support to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in its quest to achieve a credible election come 2019. IFS electoral management expert Sereja disclosed this in Calabar at a workshop organized by a Board of Survey and Technical Equipment Acquisition Committee for store offices of INEC across the country. Sere said the objective of the workshop is to seek a unified standard of procedures for store management in order to enhance INEC operations, particularly in the build-up to the 2019 elections. According to him, this has become necessary in order to ensure all store offices of INEC act in uniformity and in conformity with the global best practices of conducting elections. Now, the proponents of the Not Too Young to Run movement has stepped up effort at ensuring the speedy passage of the bill, which will guarantee an increased participation for young Nigerians in politics. The National Day of Action on the presidential accent to the age reduction bill was marked in Abuja as hundreds of young Nigerians gathered at the entrance of the presidential villa, braving the scorching sun for about 8 hours. More details in this report. Hundreds of youths came out in their numbers at the Unity Fountain Park in Abuja seeking to speed up the process of presidential assent to the Not Too Young to Run bill, which will reduce the age of presidential aspirants to 35 from 40 years, amongst others. The National Day of Action for Presidential Assent is part of the campaign strategy of mobilizing young people to participate in constitution building and demand quality representation from the elected leaders. Convener of the movement, Samson Itodo, said if assented, the bill will be crucial in determining the fate of APC in the next year's election, while others called for constitutional amendment which should address what they termed undue powers to the president.
This is a bill that millions of Nigerian youths support, and we have constantly held that if you want the youth vote in 2019, then make sure you pass the Not Too Young to Run bill. We're passing this message again that if you want the youth vote in 2019, then be ready to actually sign or assent Not Too Young to Run. And this message goes to the APC administration and to all the other political parties, because beyond assenting to the bill, we expect political parties to uphold the principles of transparency and the tenets of internal party democracy, because a lot of young people are going to join political parties, and we expect that the parties will practice internal party democracy to give young people an opportunity to become candidates.
Giving the president too much authority to sign on the process of amendment, of the constitution. And I think that we should begin to think about this too into the future. But we are telling this president right now that he rode into office on the votes, on the power of imagination, on the power of creativity, on the enthusiasm of young people. That this is not the time to stab them in the back. This is not the time, to withdraw his support for their cause. And that Nigerian youths deserve inclusion in governance.
After a long wait for an official from the presidency, the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Siriki, came and assured the youths of presidential assent to the bill.
Mr. President, who would have been here himself to assent to the bill? But you all know that he's out of country, out of town rather, and he will soon be back. And in the interim, I've been asked to come and speak to you and to assure you that Mr. President is a Democrat. Mr. President operates the rule of law.
The age reduction bill was passed by the National Assembly in July last year, and the remaining hurdle is the presidential assent before it becomes a law. You're watching the SuperScreen News. We'll take a break now. When we return, we'll take some news from the business world. Stay with us. Welcome back. And on the business scene, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, says the modular refineries being planned for the Niger Delta region is not meant to address the fuel scarcity in the country. According to him, the idea behind the proposed refineries is to provide jobs for those currently engaged in illegal refining in some communities in the region. He said modular refineries are not supposed to provide a sufficient solution to product needs, but to pull and get job opportunities for people stranded. The Nigeria Heart Foundation, NHF, has endorsed 3 Crowns milk as healthy for consumption. This NHIF endorsement coincides with the 38th anniversary of Friesland Campina Wamco, the producers of peak milk and 3 Crowns milk.
Friesland Campina Wamco, producers of peak milk and 3 Crowns milk, celebrates its 30th anniversary on March 15, 2018, with the Nigeria Heart Foundation, NHF, endorsing its product 3 Crowns milk as being healthy for consumption. This is coming on the heels of the partnership entered into by both parties.
This is to unveil the endorsement of Nigeria Heart Foundation to our brand 3 Crowns. And this is a very important milestone for us because it shows the role that the brand 3 Crowns plays in healthy living to Nigerians. And the endorsement of Nigerian Heart Foundation is very important because it then gives to the consumers the confidence, and also gives us, to us as a company, the total confidence that what we are doing in providing healthy nutrition, which is good for the heart, is to Nigerians.
Today we're celebrating two remarkable events. The endorsement of 3 Crowns Milk by the Nigerian Heart Foundation, and also we're 30 years this year, so we're also celebrating our 30th anniversary to today's event. So for us, it's very important because it's like a 2-in-1 celebration and a partnership. We see the endorsement as a critical lever, a signal of trust to make Nigerians know that yes, 3 Crowns has always preached health with consumers, has always told people to keep fit and work out and be happy so that they are healthy. So this is a remarkable, very remarkable event for us.
Speaking on the rationale behind the endorsement of the product, the Nigeria Heart Foundation say the low cholesterol in the 3 Crowns milk will help fight cardiovascular and heart diseases, a view corroborated by other food nutritionists.
The foundation has thought wisely. This partnership with Heart Foundation is not the first. We've done so with many other products. But we're always looking for heart-friendly foods in order to combat vascular diseases in our community. So it's very important to promote healthy products like this and commend them to the general public, not just to the literate public. If there's a way of letting the market woman even know the dangers exposed to.
The 3 Crowns is the first milk that the Nigerian Heart Foundation is endorsing. I'm actually a director of the nutrition group, the Nigerian Heart Foundation, and we did what we did because we found that the milk has very high concentration of what we call good fat. That is polyunsaturated fat, which is the ideal fat for the human body. It has very low cholesterol, it has vitamins and minerals, and so it's a very good product.
The occasion today is to mark the heart check logo presentation to 3 Crowns Milk. And that initiative of the Nigerian Heart Foundation is to encourage manufacturers of foods to present their products in a way that is heart-friendly. That is the components of whatever they are selling, either food or drinks, in terms of the fat content, the cholesterol content, the sugar content, the salt content. So that is the main initiative, and through that, to create awareness amongst the public about the importance of eating heart-healthy food.
This product, according to the producers, is made to encourage healthy eating and fitness amongst Nigerians.
It's positioned for people who are very health conscious about their bodies, about their health and what they eat. Not to say every other milk in the market is not good, but you have a specially formulated milk that is also good for everyone, but also for people who really want to be very cautious. Not to mean everybody who is not health conscious can take it. It can be used by everybody. But what we say is, as a 3 Crowns band, we preach and we encourage healthy eating and working out.
All present were made to undergo 30 minutes of exercise. Adenike Oweye Ajiboye, SuperScreen News.
Federal government's target of increasing crude oil reserves, the country recorded a decline of 961.47 million barrels per day in 4 years on the back of low investment exploration by oil companies. The latest data from the Department of Petroleum Resources showed the oil reserves fell from a high of 32.23 billion barrels in 2012 to 31.27 billion barrels in 2016, while the condensate reserve stood at 5.47 billion barrels from 4.91 billion barrels in 2012. The federal government in 2010 set the target of 40 billion barrels of crude oil reserves and a production of 4 million barrels per day by 2020, but exploration activities have slowed in recent years. You're watching SuperScreen News. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll take some foreign stories and some sports stars. Stay with us.